First question will come from Eric Bailey, and then we'll go to Joe Bettner. Eric?
Hey, Jeremiah, nice to see you again. Hey, just wanted to ask about Coach Finley. What's it been like working with him, adjusting to another position coach? What's his style like?
He's a very I like him. You can tell that he played tight end personally. There's some things that he sees in our game that just somebody who you would have to play the position to like kind of understand what he's talking about. And so it's kind of convenient for him. He has an older room, and so it kind of just lets us go out there and play, and he's not micromanaging us. So I like him. He's a cool guy, and I'm glad we have him on board.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Okay, Joe Bettner, and then Jason Kersey.
Hey, Jeremiah, I was, speaking to that kind of veteran room you have, kind of the guys you bring back, as well as a dude you spoke on quite a bit in Mikey Henderson, who you think is going to have a big career. What's that competition like as far as everyone's basically back and you've got, so many reps to take? What has that competition been like, and what do you expect it to be like this spring?
It forces you to focus in on every rep that you have because you only get but so many, and obviously there's only one or two guys out there at a time, so you have to make sure each one counts. But that's something that you can only expect here at the University of Oklahoma. Everybody's good, so it just makes us that much better to have to push each other and to make sure that we're locked in on each and every play.
Thanks, Jeremiah.
Jason Kersey, and then Kerry Murdoch.
Hey, Jeremiah, always good to see a bald brother. Hope you're doing well. I wanted to ask you about Austin Stogner, a guy that, I know you work closely with. What he went through last year, how scary was that as his teammate to sort of see that from afar? And how good has it been to have him back at 100%?
Yeah, it's weird looking from the outside in. You don't know exactly what's going on with him because you kind of just want to give him his space, but at the same time, you're concerned because he's not playing. I've never seen anyone go off for a month like that just and be in that situation, be in the hospital and it not be necessarily football related. This was something that was completely out of his control. And so you kind of had a little bit of worry, but to see him fighting back and to see him back on the field and getting after it like he used to, it just kind of gives you a little bit of hope. And you can't help but smile every time he makes a play and brings energy out there on the field.
Thanks, man.
Okay, Kerry Murdoch, and then John Hoover.
Jeremiah, I'll ask you this question since you've been around. I'm curious, when you go out there and practice against some of these guys on the defensive side of the ball, how much have you noticed even just physically how different those guys are on that side? And you see bigger guys like, Key Lawrence and Justin Harrington and even young guys that we haven't seen yet, like Marcus Hicks. I mean, it just seems like the size and the strength and the speed is a little bit different than maybe when you first got here.
Yeah. For me, it's crazy because I look at myself personally and at the beginning of my journey, I was just focused on me. But now as an older guy, I can kind of sit back and look at the growth like you just mentioned. And I think it's been for the better. Those guys complement our defense. All those guys that you named, I like everything that they bring right now. They're showing glimpses of a bright future. And so I wouldn't necessarily say that there's something that they don't have that the past guys didn't have, like just character wise or anything like that. But like you said, like the stature, it's different. And I like it though. It brings more competition on my end. So we'll see how things go.
Appreciate it, Jeremiah.
John Hoover, and then James Hale.
Hey, Jeremiah, hope you're well. So I'm doing something on the young receivers, not just the young guys that are coming in this year, but Marvin's year last year was amazing. The precocious nature of players, freshmen, as they come into a college football program these days, as an older guy yourself, you look at those guys and say, I can't believe they're coming in this ready, or is this just the trend now that this is what college football demands of its freshmen?
For me, it's a little bit of both. From me personally, I look at it as, wow, like I can't believe these guys are ready simply because I had to wait. So when I look back from my journey, I'm like, wow, like I waited, I redshirted, I was behind Carson and Dimitri and all those guys. But then I look at guys like Marvin and guys that are immediately ready to play. It's just a tale of two stories. So on one end, it's like what you expect, but on the other end, it's like, wow, you just really got to appreciate how good those guys really are and the potential that they have. So it's a little bit of both. You know, I'm kind of shocked, but I'm like, that's what we expect. So that's how I am.
Great. Thank you so much.
Go to James Hale and then Parker Thune.
Jeremiah, you've gotten better every year you've been here. So I'm curious as you go into this spring practice, what are your goals? What are your goals for your group? I mean, it's an incredibly productive group, the HVAC group. You guys seem to score a touchdown in every game. So talk about the mindset and what your goal is and the group's goal going into the spring.
Really I talked about last year having the best tight end group in the country, best tight end room. And I look back on that now, and it's kind of hard because we weren't ever all on the field at the same time. And so this year, I mean, the sky's the limit, man. We have somewhere around 1,000 total yards of production last year. And like I said, we all weren't even out there. So I expect the numbers this year to be astronomical, not only for myself, but for Braden, for Stog, and the rest of the guys. And so we've grown every year, and I think this year will be the cherry on top, in my opinion.
Thanks, Jeremiah.
Okay, Parker Thune and then Chandler Engelbrecht.
Hey, Jeremiah, thanks for taking the time. I'm just curious, you're a guy who obviously pays attention to the little things, and you guys have 10 early enrollees, brand new freshmen this spring. Have any of them really stood out to you? I know there are none in your particular room, but just looking around at the new guys in the room, or on the practice field rather, is there anybody that stood out to you?
I think I'll have a better answer for you the more we get into fall camp. We haven't even put pads on yet. So I'm going to hold off on that simply because I want to give everybody a fair shot. And so we'll see. I'll have to get back to you on it.
Fair enough. Anybody standing out in the weight room?
In the weight room, we got some fast guys, man. Let me tell you that. There's really no one person. I don't want to say. I don't want to give it up too early. I think it's too early, so I'm gonna hold off.
Appreciate it, Jeremiah.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, Chandler Engelbrecht and then Josh Calloway.
Hey, Jeremiah. I hope you're well, man. Just curious. Spencer and Marvin put on a show last season for you guys offensively. How have you seen that chemistry grow this spring, and what are your expectations for those two heading into this season?
This spring so far, outside of our two practices that we have, just the stuff that we've done on our own, it's maturing. Spencer's noticing things that he might not have noticed last year. He's fitting balls into gaps and holes between the defense that he didn't necessarily have this year. So he's intentional about how he approaches each and every session we have with the coaches, outside of the coaches, and that connection is only going to grow. It's only right. It's only natural. And so you guys you'll definitely see that come the spring game, and especially here in the fall.
Okay. I'm sorry. I haven't gone to you yet, Josh, have I, Callaway?
No.
Okay. You're up next or now, and then we'll go to Lee Benson to close it out. Josh?
Yeah, Jeremiah, I just wanted to ask about Mikey Henderson, obviously a guy that you've worked with closely. He actually is listed as running back now on the roster. Just, I guess, he's kind of become a bit of a fan favorite with what he can do on the field. Just, I guess, thoughts on what his spring is going to be like and what the growth he can make from this spring going into next season.
Yeah, Mikey is with the running backs now. And so I can't really speak for the coaches in terms of what they expect, but what I expect for Mikey is just to start dialing in on the little things. Last year was more of him knowing what to do since he played so many roles. You guys saw it out there. And so this year, I think he needs to take that next step to not only know what to do, but to take advantage of when he sees opportunities on the field and to make every rep count as well. Because like I said earlier, there's competition not only in my room, but in his room as well. So as soon as he can dial in and mature a little bit, then it'll be all the better for him. And I think he'll do so more this spring.
Last question, Lee Benson.
Jeremiah, I think you're a good guy to comment on this since you've played with him previously in previous years, but curious what you've seen from Kennedy. I know it's very early, I haven't put the pads on yet, but is it reasonable to expect him to jump right in and be as good as he was in 2019, the last time you saw him, or is that kind of unfair given the situation, that is unique situation that he didn't play last year and that doesn't normally happen? Just so curious your thoughts on Kennedy.
Yeah, Kennedy's my best friend. He's my roommate. And so it would only be right for me to tell you guys that he doesn't expect anything less of himself. You know, if anything, he's picking up right back where he started. Physically, he's still there. Mentally, he's still there. And so he may have been gone. He might have been gone for a year, but that doesn't mean he didn't work. You know, he's ready and he expects to compete and put on a show.